Welcome, friends, to Street Food Stories, where we dive into the sizzling, smoky world of food trucks, street food, and the diversity of flavors found on streets across America. We're your hosts, Craig and Jamie Joe, and invite you to join us as we chat with industry leaders and celebrate the spirit of street food that brings us all together. This is Street Food Stories. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a special live edition of Street Food Stories. Tonight we are doing things a little bit different, so we're actually live on all of our socials. So welcome if you're joining us from Facebook or YouTube and Instagram. I'm not sure if our Instagram is actually working properly, so forgive me, guys, if you're over there. Jump on YouTube or Facebook, and you can check us out. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You can now find Street Food Stories on all major podcasting platforms. So welcome back. Tonight we've got Matt Geller here with us. I'm sure you have all seen the devastation that's going on in LA with these horrible wildfires that have been happening, and we wanted to do our part to help. So we've got Matt Geller with Best Food Trucks here, and he is going to be joining us to talk about how we can best serve those out in LA. So welcome, Matt.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
How are you?
I'm good. I mean, it's, I'm from LA. I grew up here. I grew up in Venice, and a lot of my friends grew up in the Palisades. So, story after story of people who we know very well, who I grew up with, just homes gone, displaced, and trying to figure out what their next steps are. So, I mean, the Palisades is an old neighborhood up in the hills, like between, say, like Santa Monica and Malibu, and it is gone. It's just, the Ralphs, the coffee shops, the cleaners, just everything is gone. And it's tough to see a city like that. Yeah.
Well, we definitely, it's heartbreaking to see it all over the news and see what's been going on. And I know we've been through our own share of disasters in other ways, and it's never easy, no matter what it is or where it is, who it affects. It's still humans that were affected by a great tragedy, and it's heartbreaking to see. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you're okay. And we just want to reach out from Nashville and, see what we can do to help our fellow food truckers out there. I know you mentioned earlier that some of them were actually directly affected.
Yeah, so the Tropic Truck, which is a truck I've been working with for years, part of the association here, SoCal Mobile Food Vendors Association, she and her husband, Lauren and Nelson, great truck, great operators, and they were part of the Eaton fire, and they lost everything. That's the picture of their house. I mean, it's just absolutely flattened. And I'll tell you, just, will and strength and everything that they're going through. They decided tonight that they were going to be on their truck, and they're feeding the fire department in one of the fire departments in Altadena. And Altadena is like really where Eaton is. I'm not sure if you guys have heard that Altadena fire has been catastrophic. And instead of sitting down and just hoping everything works out, they're actually out there feeding.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Feeding the fire department and other displaced people that might be close by or in the neighborhood, or and it's so rough out there that even driving in, the fire department had to come escort them to the area.
Oh my gosh.
But they're going to do 70 meals. Luckily, we've raised about $900, actually a little bit more today, but as of this morning it was $920. So that's going to go towards feeding everybody there, which has been great.
Well, I definitely, just so people that are watching may know, so this is the food truck, the Tropic Truck out in LA that lost everything. This is actually a photo of their home. And so I have posted the link in the chat below that people can donate to the Tropic Truck there. So that's really important that they can help those guys out. And, like Matt said, they're actually serving tonight. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Lauren this morning, and she said we just have to stay busy. And they have a 4-year-old who just wants to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So like all of that is just, it's just like so much that's going on right now. It's overwhelming. But I think another thing that's amazing is I'm pacing the floor trying to figure out how I can help, and I'm being told, hey, we're good right now. So I reached out to all the supervisors. So Los Angeles County, big county with 88 cities in it. Los Angeles is one of those cities, the city of Los Angeles. So I reached out to the county board of supervisors, which are elected officials, and I have a relationship with them over the years. And they put me in touch with the Department of Emergency Management, and they said, "Thank you so much. We're not taking anything right now." And the reason for that is the outpouring of support and funds and volunteers has been just absolute. So it's just everywhere. And even we were trying to figure out how to help, and the Fixed on Wheels, which is he runs a great Facebook group called Food Trucks Unlimited. He just went to the Westwood. It's usually the Westwood Rec Center, but now it's called the Westwood Evacuation Center, and said, "We want to serve. We'll serve here free, and we'll pay for everything." No, and they said, "We're sorry, we can't take it. We don't even have space for the food that's been delivered to us so far."
Wow.
So now I'll tell you that this is not what I keep telling myself is this is not it's not a sprint, right? This is a marathon.
Right.
We need years of recovery. So we're just doing our best to fill gaps right now in the places that maybe the city of Los Angeles hasn't gotten to. We're doing that through, just the fire department we're doing tonight. Some of the food trucks are just partnering with churches to get, food out and service people. And there's a lot of just general trauma as well. People are just kind of like, oh my God, even if you didn't lose your home. I mean, guys, today's been better. Yesterday was a little better, but like the day before that, the sun was just red in the sky under smoke. We've got planes and helicopters. I saw 4 Osprey fly over Culver City, where I am, 2 days ago. And it just feels very, it feels just very catastrophic, and from where I am, I can see the fires in the hills, and right now it's actually on the backside. So this is 3 days ago.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it is in one sense horrible, but amazing how fast Los Angeles is coming together. The city, the county, and World Central Kitchens, who came in, right away.
Mhm.
Jose Andres was literally serving first night.
Yep.
And that's always a good, I'm originally from Florida, so hurricanes, we know our share of devastation with that. Obviously being here in Nashville now with tornadoes and all sorts of things. It's always in the moment, there's always little things that you'll remember, like the sound of a chainsaw or certain things humming in the background always remind me of days following a hurricane. But then I like to think on, like you said, how after something like this, it's amazing how people come together and figure out what we can do to help, whether it's from near or far. Everyone brings their own set of unique talents and things that they can that just shine in that moment. That I may not be able to do this, I may not be able to have heavy equipment, but I can feed people, or I can, watch children. There's so many people that activate following something like this that just really, makes you feel good about humanity.
Yeah. And to that point, I mean, we have Canadian planes down from Western Canada that are, I mean, if you look out onto the ocean, if you're on the beach today, yesterday, day before, you just see large water tankers, basically swooping and skimming the water, picking up a bunch of water and going right back into the hills. And they're just going in a loop. And at first, I think we only had 3 or 4. Don't quote me on that. But now we have a lot more coming in from Canada and other, I think Oregon sent some, sending fire trucks. Canada sending the planes, Mexico sending firefighters. So, a lot of times when you see this, it's like, oh my God, it's over. And honestly, after Palisades was completely wiped out 3 days ago, I thought to myself, okay, it's almost over. Now the wind's going to pick up tonight.
Yeah.
It's still going. We have just mountain, hills and mountains, and as it gets onto the backside, it could get into the valley area, Encino, and that's what we're worried about now. Brentwood and a lot of other places are still really, really at risk. So the fire is, I believe, and again, stuff comes in really fast. The last time I heard, the original fire, Palisades, was only 8% contained. So now, again, a lot of the burning is just up in the hills, so nothing's being impacted, but it just crawls towards, people's homes. And tonight, with the wind coming up again, they don't, we don't know what's going to happen.
And these Santa Ana winds are 90 miles an hour winds and 80 miles.
Yeah, I mean, typically no, but I mean, I grew up here. Like
Yeah.
Santa Anas were always like a really nice break from the winter because they're a little warmer wind. So if you have Santa Anas, it's like, oh, it's windy, but it's also 73 in January. It's not
Right.
so bad. But these winds were wild. I mean, I'm in the flats, like Culver City is not in the hills. I'm pretty close, but and even down here, it was just whipping. But I guess up in, I have friends up in Palisades that said they had never seen anything like it from a wind perspective.
Wow. We were talking about the chaos of it all and how, things go crazy after this. I want to touch base just for people that are wanting to help. And I know that everyone's not in LA right now, but the importance of going in organized following something like this and the channels that you guys are working through, so people know that, like, if they were to donate to the GoFundMe, this is how it's being used. You're working with certain groups, emergency management. You're not just on the fly doing things.
Well, I mean, so it's a little bit of both, right? So this morning I got the email from Tropic Truck, and she actually emailed the entire association, and she said, we're going to serve the Altadena Fire Department, and can anybody chip in? And I just said, we got the whole thing, right? Because we've been raising money. That's what the money's for. So because like World Central Kitchens has their kind of like their slice, and then the county has their slice, our job right now, we feel like, is to fill in all those kind of people that are left out. And right now the fire stations are a really good opportunity for us to serve in a safe way, but serve people that are they're exhausted, man. They're just out. I mean, like, I'm in Culver City. The Culver City Fire Department's out battling at West Hollywood, Los Angeles County Fire Department. I mean, everybody's just fighting this thing, and everybody's been called back. So it's like on duty guys are out there. Then you got a couple of guys that are staying in the city just in case anything breaks out here. So being able to go out and feed them, I was reached out. Pharrell Williams and Copper. I'm not that hip, but Copper, I guess, is also an artist. One of their partners reached out to us today and said, we have a Rolodex of fire departments, and we want to pay for everybody, all these fire departments to get fed. Will you help supply the food trucks? So from that perspective, instead of waiting on the city or the county or World Central Kitchens, we're just going to take charge of that.
Right.
Everybody wants to do everything, and everybody wants to do something. And I can tell you, like, food trucks are like, let me help. And I'm like, I don't have any places for you. So hopefully by tomorrow, I have what I'm looking for is just a list of fire departments and then a schedule. I know we're going to do Altadena tonight. We're going to do them Tuesday. I mean, those guys are really, really on the front lines. So Tuesday and then also Friday.
And this will be an ongoing thing too. People don't always realize it's not going to end next week. There's still going to be a need months, years down the road. There'll be some sort of need, but especially in the next few weeks and months, there's going to be a need continuing. It's not going to just...
Yeah. And just think about you guys are seeing the pictures. The breadth of destruction is so crazy, and cleanup crews are going to be out there literally for a year. I mean, you got to get the plastics out, the burnt. I mean, just really toxic stuff. And some of our old homes here in Los Angeles still have asbestos in it and lead paint. It's just going to be back to what I said earlier. Like, I have to keep telling myself, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. So put everything in place so that we can continue to service the community and service the people that are serving the community, especially, but I mean, also for the Palisades, Canyon Elementary, completely gone. Palisades High School, I mean, like, Venice and Palisades were, rivals. Like, I knew kids up there, like, it's 50% of it's gone. I don't think anybody will get back there for 2 years. So where are all those kids going to go? And like, they even canceled school because of bad air day qualities. And like, a lot of the kids in LA are on free meal programs. Where are they going to eat? What are we going to do to service those? So it's just, I can't think about everything, but I can think about the feeding, right? I can think about feeding people. And so that I'm really, really focused on that. And I'm focused on feeding the people that need it. Just a little break, a little help, and the people that are serving the city and the county of Los Angeles.
And it's something too that the reason we wanted to do this was because, I mean, obviously we're in the food truck industry as well, but it's a need that sometimes people forget about. Like, there's always hands on deck, ready to serve and wanting to do things, but sometimes it's a need that people forget, who covers all these free meals, or who does the legwork and stuff like that. So they oftentimes just want to donate to maybe larger organizations, like nationwide groups that are doing things behind the scenes, or, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but they want to donate clothing or other things like that, which are great under the right circumstances. But this kind of need, sometimes people forget that people have to be sustained, they have to eat. And now more than ever, because they're not just living their day-to-day lives, they're actually doing super major manual labor and hard work that is exhausting and burning more calories, and like the stress of it all too. They're tired, they're hungry, and when nothing else can be done, we can feed people.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm thinking most about is, during COVID, how crazy it was. And, we were sending food trucks into neighborhoods and everybody just wanted a touch of normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out there battling fires, or everything's been displaced, or there's people that, like, it's not normal, but
Mm-hmm.
just like having a smile from a food truck operator that hands you a great meal, and you can sit down with some friends and just eat it and just feel normal for a sec before you go back into what is a really tragic situation.
Just comfort.
That's what we're looking to do.
Yeah.
Now, are there shelters set up? Like, do they have?
Yeah.
Where is everyone? This is not like, I don't know. I liken it to like the Category 5 hurricanes that we've been. Where do people go?
Yeah. So we do have to shelter some of the rec centers, Pasadena Convention Center, but Airbnb has been partnering with a company called 211 to just open up people's Airbnbs to just get people situated. We do have anti-gouging regulations in California, so like when there's a natural disaster like this, like nobody's allowed to just like jack up their prices and get crazy, right? So that's been helpful. But one of my buddy Scott, he's a construction worker. I mean, he has a construction company. He's built a few houses up in the Palisades, and luckily all three are okay. But he spent all day yesterday just basically clearing brush so the fire couldn't get to his house or his neighborhood. But he has right now, I think, 4 families in his house in Culver City, just taking care of everybody.
Wow.
They took the kids' rooms. He's got a little back office. That's also what we're seeing. Like, everybody's opening up their homes. Everybody's taking care of their friends, like just doing the best they can to help anywhere they can.
How many food trucks are there in the LA area that, two-part question, I guess. One, that you think maybe were directly affected? I know we know of the Tropic Truck. And then the second part is, how many are there that are, mobilizing to start help?
It's really, that's all. I mean, it's so tough. We have so many segments. I mean, I know for Nashville, you have 468 permitted mobile food facilities. Here we have over 4,500.
Yeah.
And some of them are ice cream trucks, and some of them are luncheros, like route trucks, and some of the gourmet truck guys that I work with. I work with, everybody really, but then we also have carts and everything. So just understand, like, the Palisades is a well-off neighborhood. And as a result, you have a lot of construction, like remodels, but you have nannies and gardeners and just so many workers up there. So there were always food trucks up there. Actually, there was just a big story about the Ralphs suing food trucks that parked in front of the Ralphs because they were servicing those people. And now all of a sudden the Ralphs is gone and everything's gone, right? But throughout Los Angeles, you have a lot of food trucks that serve a lot of the kind of domestic worker base, and all of them in that area are all they have nothing, right? They have no more jobs. There's no more houses. So this is going to reverberate throughout this industry for a long time. And just understand, like, a lot of our food trucks were already reeling from the lack of Hollywood being kind of in session, right? So after the strikes, nothing's come back yet. So many food trucks served suits and commercials and all of that. So it's going to be really tough here for a while.
Yeah. So that's definitely another thing to keep in mind for those that are going to see this and want to help out. Not only can you donate to the Tropic Truck that was directly affected, that link is in the comments. You can also donate towards the Best Food Trucks GoFundMe as well. That link is also in the comments. That one goes to support truckers that are serving on the front lines and helping feed victims and stuff. But this will also go to support trucks that were already struggling that are now affected by this, because the places that they did serve on a day-to-day basis may not be there anymore. So the business that is just lost from that is, it's a trickle-down effect. It's not, they may not have directly been affected by the fire. They may still have a home, but now their business is going to be affected if the places that they typically served are no longer there. So,
and then just like the vastness of this fire, like you told me earlier, like how much this fire covered. So
yeah, I mean, so LA is like, it's like a basin. So imagine like this is where people live, and then there's mountains all around it. And so most of the parts, the northern mountain areas and some of the eastern mountain areas, those are the things that are on fire. So you can have the Palisades, it has to crawl all the way over that mountain to the next right, the next kind of like where people live neighborhoods. But it is vast, and what that means is where it is now, it's really hard to get to. Like you can't just drive a fire engine and just start spraying it. That's why all the planes are necessary. So you're trying to stop it in the hills and the mountains before it gets to the next neighborhood. And that's what makes this really, really tough. And even like for the food trucks, like they want to go serve, say, the fire department. Like I think I said, like the truck tonight has to get escorted into that fire station, because there's just been so much debris, so much craziness, and everything's kind of shut down. But as it goes, food trucks always have to be in an area that can be safely away, because when the wind picks up, it moves so fast. I mean, a lot of people, if you haven't been here, like we were in a 6-year drought, and then the last 2 years we've had a substantial amount of rain. I mean, more rain than we would typically have. 2 years of rain pulled us out of a historic drought that should have taken us 30 years to get out of. But what that did was that created more brush and more growth and more everything that catches on fire. And we haven't had any substantial rain since May. So as that fire is coming through, it has all this new brush to fuel it. It has the winds to move it. And it has the dryness to just keep it going. And that's just been like a catastrophic mix, right? It just continues. It's just, and like I never saw any fires get down to the water. Like there were lifeguard stations, like, wooden lifeguard stations, like think of Baywatch, like like those were on fire on the beach, because these embers were just floating, boom, land. And then a lot of the older, palm trees, they have kind of what we call them beards, but like all the old palm fronds, those were catching on fire. And then those would go up. And so just down the PCH restaurant, I mean, the restaurant that my parents had their first date at in Malibu, gone, flattened, completely gone. But the vastness of the fire is just, that is what makes it so hard to fight. And that is why, like, even I just had a conversation with one of his name's Josh. He manages all of the caterings for us. I was like, oh, I want you to come into LA. We're going to have a meeting. And he's like, I'm not sure if I should. And 3 days ago, I was like, oh, they'll have it contained. No. I mean, here I am now. It's 8% contained, right? It's just that it is otherworldly how bad it is. I just can't believe it.
I can't wrap my head around it. I know it looks so different in pictures. And again, I'm empathizing from a place of being there in a different situation. But when you see photos of, the hurricane debris or anything like that, when you see it in person, it's just not, it never takes that away. It's so different. And so I know I want to tell people, when you're seeing these videos and these images, multiply that by 10, because in person, you cannot capture how devastating something like this is. And I can't fathom it. So it's heartbreaking, and I'm so sorry that this is happening. But hopefully we can, do our little part on this side of America and spread the word, and hopefully will donate, and we're thankful that you're okay, and we're praying for you guys out there. And if there's anything else we can do, we'll do our best for sure.
I appreciate it. And I will say that food trucks around the country have reached out to us to help. So it's been
Awesome.
The food trucks here feel it, and we feel it, and we're just going to keep working to, recover and support food trucks and make sure that they can do what they want to do, which is just get out there and help and feed people and make things feel normal, even if just for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, beyond the link that I shared, beyond the GoFundMe, is there somewhere that people can go on like a Best Food Trucks website or something to see, hey, like a click-in link or something to what you guys are doing?
So I'm actually doing a lot of updates on Food Trucks Unlimited. I'm not sure if you guys have been there. It's kind of a wild. John have you guys been on it?
I have not. No.
So John, I love, and he's going to be serving the Altadena. He's with the Fix on Wheels. He's an old stockbroker, and he's just very serious about food trucks, and he can use interesting language sometimes, just so everybody's aware. But he is very, very passionate about serving the community. During COVID, the guy was carrying around toilet paper so he could like feed people burgers and get people toilet paper.
I was thinking a website. I have been on there. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's the Facebook group.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a lot of updates there. We will do updates through Best Food Trucks. If you are a truck, we'll do updates through there. And if you don't feel comfortable donating to us, World Central Kitchens has their thing. We are going to pop up, and I will share it with you tomorrow, a like a lot group which has all of the locations food trucks are serving fire departments. And if you want to go on there and order online a $12 meal, you'll just be helping us feed people.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we know that some people like GoFundMe is weird. Like you feel like you have to donate $50 or $100 or something.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have an online order link for all of the places we're serving.
Oh,
so
cool.
if like the Fix on Wheels is at Altadena on Tuesday, you can buy a meal for a fireman, firewoman.
And now is that on bestfoodtrucks.com or?
It'll be on bestfoodtrucks.com. I haven't set up the link yet, but I will send it to you.
Well, I'm going to put that just so here people can see. So bestfoodtrucks.com. Actually.
Yeah, that's a good way to just buy a meal for somebody, like $12.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, we're going to set that up.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, well, I think, Matt, we're going to go ahead and let you go. We thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. We're going to end the live at this time. But, guys, if you want to donate, please check out those links that we posted in the comments. Or like Matt said, tomorrow, head over to bestfoodtrucks.com, and you can buy meals directly for firemen and people serving out there in California. So thanks so much.
We love you guys. Appreciate it.
You.
Yep.
Bye.
See you later.
Thanks.